And hi everyone, it's good to see your smiling faces. Well, I have to presume that they're smiling, so let's hope they still are by the end of the webinar. I'm just going to share my screen now and then take you through this PowerPoint. But before we do that, I think I'd like to open in prayer. So why don't we just pray? Father God, your promise to your people, the Israelites, was that you would lead them by ways they hadn't known and guide them down unfamiliar paths. And I thank you, you're the same one who is so concerned about us. And you want to lead us and guide us in things that are not familiar to us. And your promise is that you would show us things. So we today ask that you would help us to understand things that are new to us, help us to communicate those things and help us to receive those new things, that everything we do, whether the new things or the old, will bring glory to your name. Amen. 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 Right, let me just, I am now screen sharing, so I hope you can all see that. You have to put it in the chat if you can't, and Christine will no doubt show me. So a lot of you joining us today will already be members of the parish giving scheme, and you'll know your way around it very well. But for those of you who aren't, who just want to say welcome to you in particular, you may have had emails from us and information about it, and you may be wondering what it's all about. And if with the new digital service, whether it's really worth you getting on board. I just want to say at the outset, it's a really good time to jump on board with the parish giving scheme. Even this new digital service, you could use it as a launch pad for promoting the planned giving in your churches. So as I say, it's a great time to do that. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the scheme. If I can get the subtitles off and move on to the next slide. So what is the parish giving scheme? Well, it's a simple and secure way for churches to receive regular donations. It's simple to join up in the first place, just a telephone call to Christine or myself or an email, and get in touch with us and we'll take you through the process very simply and easily, and most importantly, painlessly and free. It's a free service. What it isn't is a magic wand to solve all your financial worries. I wish we had one of those, but we don't. We've got a generous God, and we do things in response to him. But it is a tool, it's a mechanism that you can use to receive gifts from people. And who doesn't want to receive what people have got to give us? We need what they've got, and we want to make it easy and accessible for them to do that. So it is a tool. And who's it for? Well, it's for anybody really who's committed to giving into the life of your church. And that could be from members of your congregations who've been there for years, or sort of been their time immemorial. It could be new people coming into your churches who say, yeah, this is where we feel it's our family. This is the place we feel that God has put us, and we feel a responsibility to give into it. But it could also be people that don't actually attend your church for services, but are in the community and see what you do as a church, or they want to contribute to the fabric of the church. And they're saying, look, we want to make a commitment to you. And so it's for them as well. So regular givers who are committed to giving to your churches. Now, there's a list up here of the benefits of the scheme. And I'm not going to go through all of them. We do parish giving scheme presentations. So if you want that for your church or your PCC, then we can arrange that for you. But I'm just going to pick out a couple of the benefits The second one you see down there, the giving levels remain steady when people give through the scheme, because it's a monthly or a quarterly or an annual payment that they're making. And you can imagine how important that has been over the last 12 months, when attendance at church has been erratic, because churches have been able to open sometimes and then closed others, when it's been difficult to actually get physical money into the churches. There is this money coming in on a steady stream, and that helps the people to plan budgets and to pay bills. And we know how important that is for our churches and for their future effectiveness. And the last one I'm going to pick out is the last one on the list here, that the unique benefit of the parish giving scheme is that the gift can be chosen to rise with inflation. And why is that so important? Well, I might have been giving £5 a week 30 years ago, but that £5 isn't worth the same today. So it's really important that we encourage people to sign up and put their gift to rise with inflation. That is a really unique benefit and advantage to the churches. That doesn't mean to say that we only talk about giving once a year. And it doesn't mean to say that you can only give if you only want to, if you just want to increase your gift, you can increase it more than inflation if you want to. That's what I'm trying to say, a bit tongue-tied there. So it's an important, steady, income secure way of giving into the church. So how did it start, and what is it now, and how does it affect us in the diocese? Well, it started in Gloucester. It was initiated by them, and they've gifted it to the rest of the country. So now 30 dioceses are taking part. Gloucester no longer are involved in the running of it, although they are actually still part of the scheme. And it's now reaching more than 55,000 donors, which is huge, isn't it? And when it started in Cornwall in 2015, there were just 186 individual donations that were being processed. So £17,500 was going through the scheme at that point. But within a year, that figure had increased 20-fold. And today we have over a third of churches in the diocese who have signed up to the parish giving scheme. And so that's over 100 of them. And the donations being processed a year are 13,400, which is a great figure, isn't it? £857,000 worth of income is coming through the scheme. That means a lot of that is being gift aided as well, again, with no extra administration involved for yourselves. And the feedback in that has been overwhelmingly positive. One just extra figure I will sort of bring to you is that the average weekly gift in the Diocese of Truro through the parish giving scheme is £14.71. I don't know how that compares with the weekly gifts in your churches, but certainly across the diocese, in all giving, it's a third higher than the average across the diocese. So that's, again, when you have planned giving, people often give more than they would than just popping their pennies into the basket as it comes around. So some great feedback. So if it's great now, so won't it be even better with the digital service? Well, some of you might be thinking, no, we like it just the way it is. It suits us. But from the 1st of March, what they brought in is that new donors can set up a regular donation online, and statement receivers can view the parish statements online. And as I say, you may be sort of thinking, well, it's fine the way it is. But actually, we're not looking at what suits just us who are in the church already. the digital service is here for people who may be coming into the church, who may not be givers at the moment, not even members of your congregation at the moment, making it simple and easy for them to give in a way that they are used to giving. So there's nothing wrong with the original things. So you can still sign up with a paper form. You can still phone up if that's the way that suits you best. But this is another tool in your toolbox. So you're not missing out on those people who do everything online. And you might be thinking, well, we've got an older congregation. What does it matter to them if there's a digital service? But interestingly, the Office for National Statistics have been doing an online survey about online engagement across age ranges. And they started it in 2011. And when they started, there were just 20% of over 75-year-olds engaged with online activity. But today, that figure has risen to 83%. So 83% of over 75-year-olds are engaged with online activity. And that was before this last year of lockdown. You think how many more people have been forced into that position of paying bills online and doing their shopping online when they've never done that before. And so it's a real ideal opportunity to take advantage of those people that have shifted to online giving and those people that have already engaged in online giving. So at the present time, if you're an existing donor, if you want to increase your gift, you can't do that online at the moment. That's coming next month. That's coming in April at some time. We'll let you know the date, but we don't have the date at the present time. So if you do want to update your gift and your preferences, and by preferences, I mean, do you want to link that to inflation? Do you want to remain anonymous? So any of those three things, you will still have to make your phone call or your email to the parish giving scheme. But you can sign up as a new donor online. How easy is that to do? Well, the proof of that is that while they were running the pilot scheme for a couple of weeks among 5 parishes, during that time, 70% of the donors who signed up weren't actually from the pilot schemes. They just stumbled across online giving or heard about it, and without any instruction, they'd managed to put a gift online. And you, again, might be thinking, well, is anybody else much interested in it? Last week, I think I'm right in saying, Christine, that they had 1,000 people, their 1,000th person signed up to online giving, and that's the first week of its launch. So this is a popular scheme, and so we want you to really get on board with this if you're not already. What is it for donors? What do they have to do? 3 simple steps. ABC, 1, 2, 3, however you want to say it. First of all, find your church. And to do that, you go to parishgiving.org.uk. Now, if you know the postcode of your parish, the name of your church, you can type that in. If you're not quite sure, if you just, maybe you've been to the church a couple of times, you've moved into a different area and you want to set up your online giving for that church, and you think, well, I know it was somewhere there, you could type in the name of the town. And you can search within a 1 mile or a 5 mile or a 15-mile radius of that place, and up will pop the number of parishes in your search area. And then you can make it more particular. You can have a look to, there'll be a list of them come up. You could put a map that you can have a look at as well. So to make sure you get the right one. So that's using the search tool, you know, that little magnifying glass that's on there. Or you could use the QR code that's provided by the parish. So if you've seen some of the materials that we've sent out or that PGS have sent out, you've got posters and there's a QR code on there. So someone can scan that QR code and then use it to find your parish online on the parish giving website. So second, process. How to register. You just pop your details in. So what will come out is say personal details, and there's two boxes. On one side it'll say register, on the right hand side it'll say login. So if you've already registered, just go to the login bit. But just to register, you pop your details in there with an email address. And it's really important, if you haven't got an email address, you would have to contact PGS to link an email address to your account. So you'll have to do that here as well. Register your details, and these personal details aren't shared with anybody else. So that's literally with the PGS team. So find your parish, register your own personal details, and then thirdly, set up your direct debit instruction. And that's the same as you would for any direct debit. It's not anything different. Set up your payment details. So you'd need your bank details. You'd need to decide, are you a UK taxpayer? That's not just a working person, because if you pay tax on investment income, you can also sign up for gift aid to gift aid it. And if you want to increase your gift annually in line with inflation. And so that's all you have to do. Your 1, 2, 3 of setting up your details for online giving as a donor. So it's not complicated. I'm not going to waffle on any longer. If you've got questions, there may have been some in the chat there, Christine, or I'll leave it to you. I'll stop sharing my screen and let you continue.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jenny. I think that was really, really clear, really helpful. There's no questions come in yet. If anyone's got any now, please pop them in there. If not, we can come back at the end. Questions on this section or the section that I'm going to talk about now. I can't see anything for the moment, so I think we'll just, oh, hold on. No, there's nothing at the moment, so I think we'll just carry on for the time being. But if you've got any questions at any point, just pop them in the chat box there and we'll pick up on those later on. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, so Jenny shared with us, oh, just a moment, I see a question has come in. Let me just go back to those for a moment. Are you going to tell us how to set it up as a church? Yes, I'm just about to do that. So that's fine. Thank you, Teresa. We'll cover that in a moment. Richard says, so it works for taxpayers and non-taxpayers. Yes, it works it's exactly the same as PGS, the standard PGS, as you do it with a form. You can do it as a taxpayer and as a non-taxpayer. If you are a taxpayer, there is the option to sign up for gift aid. So yeah, we'll come back to any other questions later. Okay. Right, so we're going to look at, as Teresa asked, how to set it up as a church now. So some of you may be the statement receiver or the administrator for PGS. If you're the statement receiver, you're the person who gets all the monthly statements through from PGS, or you may be an administrator who works on supporting the statement receiver or the treasurer in that. So this is for how you can do this in your church. There we go. Okay, so firstly, viewing your monthly statements. So many statement receivers are already making good use of the service. It's quick to do and it cuts down on paperwork. So many of you will receive by emails your monthly statements. You may have also registered already on the website even before donors could make their donations via the website. There has been that ability for statement receivers to view their statements. So many of you may be doing that already. If not, you'll need to register for a PGS Online account if you're not doing it online yet. So to do that, you just, when you go into the PGS website, as in the picture here, you just click on sign in at the top there, and it gives you the option to set up an account or to activate your online account. So if you're already a statement receiver, or indeed if you're already a donor, you can activate your online account if you're already registered with PGS. And so then you can view your statements. You go into on the website, there's a section called My PGS, and you can view your statements there. You can access all sorts of resources there as well. Some of the resources that you have already received from PGS recently, such as posters and guides explaining how to do things, they'll all be there in your online account under your My PGS section. You can view your statements at any time. They're uploaded regularly, monthly by PGS, and you can go in and view them at any time, and there'll be a 12-month archive there online that you can look back on. You can add other administrators. Perhaps you only have one statement receiver who can go online and view their records, but you can add another administrator if you want two of you to be able to view the records. It's important, though, that another administrator will set up an account with a different email address. You don't have two people viewing the account from one email address. Even if you're using a church account and not your personal one, a second administrator will set up with a different email address, but you can both view that account. So if you want to add a new administrator, you do in the first instance need to phone or email PGS, request that that administrator be added and with their email address, and then you'd be able to activate that account online as well and both view it. Now, if you're a statement receiver and you also give personally to PGS, when you will have one account, if you're using the same email address, you'll have one account. If you can see, it's quite small, this picture, but if you can see, there's a blue section and a green section. On the blue section, you can view your parish details, and on the green section, you can view your own personal details, your own giving, which is why it's important that a second administrator would use a different email address so they can't see your personal details. Yeah, so you can check on current donations, you can check on your parish details, and you can update your parish page on this section. Okay, so just a few things to think about as you're introducing online PGS in your parish. You may already be registered with PGS and using it regularly, or you may be introducing PGS as a brand new thing online and traditional methods. Firstly, every PGS registered parish has its own landing page on the PGS website. Now, many people have asked me, what is a landing page anyway? Well, a landing page is simply a page that a donor will go to when they have looked up your church. They'll find a page for that church where they can make their donations. So it's very simply where the donor will go, where they'll begin their giving journey. Now, there is an issue that many parishes do manage donations on behalf of more than one church. So if you have a parish with 2 or more churches in it, then those donations are just managed maybe by the biggest church in that parish. So it's very important that on that landing page, it clearly says donations on this page will go to 1, 2, 3 churches. Make it clear, put the names of those churches so that when a donor goes in, they can see, oh yeah, my donation is going to this maybe smaller church in the parish, not purely to the bigger church who is managing the PGS donations, that it's a parish thing. At the moment, that is a bit confusing actually on the website. When you go into the website, you'll see different churches listed. And some churches, it says you can donate. Some churches, it says you can express an interest. Now, sometimes those ones where it says you can express an interest, if they're connected with another church in a parish, actually you can give to that church through PGS, but you have to go on to that parent church, if you like, to make your donation. So it is a little confusing, but that's something that PGS are working on. And hopefully next month that will be easier, and there will be donation buttons on all the churches, regardless of whether they're the the main church in that parish. Yeah, so consider your messages. It's a new way of giving to PGS, but it's not the only one. So make sure people understand that they still can donate via post with a traditional PGS form. They can donate via phone, the new phone service that was launched during lockdown, that's still going to be continuing. So people can donate in those traditional ways as well. They don't have to donate online. As Jenny said, it's just a new tool that can enable people to give in that way if that's the way they're used to giving and want to give. And you choose the timing as well. Perhaps you might want to launch this as part of a giving review, part of maybe a sermon series on giving. You could launch PGS Online, or you could launch PGS if it's the first time you've used it. But in the context of sharing messages about your mission, about your ministry, and about what people are giving for. Okay, if we move on, so initially you'll need to edit your parish landing page. So the picture here shows an example of a parish landing page. So when you go into it, you get information about that church, you get a picture of the church, and then there's a button you can see in the green there, pledge your gift. People can just simply click, and that's where they set up their donation in the way that Jenny described. So the way it works is that information on this parish landing page has been taken from a Church Near You website. I'm sure you're all familiar with a Church Near You, and you all have a section on the Church Near You website. Now, it might be worth going into that and updating that, because the information that's on there will also appear on this PGS Online website. It's kind of synced with that regularly. So if you update your Church Near You information, it will be synced automatically to the PGS site as well. Now, on the PGS site, there is also the option to edit directly the page, but only one little paragraph. So you can edit a paragraph on the top of your PGS page. So putting things in there like an introduction to the church, a welcome to the donor, welcoming them, thanking them for taking the trouble to come to this page. Perhaps any information about your mission and ministry, perhaps a brief mission statement or some of the key things that you're doing in your church. Maybe explain in that paragraph as well that people will be given the option to have an inflationary increase on their gift year by year, and why that's important. And obviously saying thank you, as I said at the beginning, thank you for coming to this page, thank you for considering a donation to this church. But keep that paragraph short. It's a lot of information I said there, but just in snippets, keep it short, and then the rest of information will come through a Church Near You. Yeah, it says at the bottom there, actually, we have prepared a step-by-step guide to assist parishes. So there is a guide that you can access through your My PGS on the website, but you can also access some of these resources on our Truro Diocese website, where they're in a nice, quite easy, accessible place there, which I'll show you later how to access that. Okay, so helping you to inform donors. Again, on the website in the My PGS section, there's a whole list of resources. Hopefully some of you will have seen those already. So there's a step-by-step guide for donors. As Jenny said, it's very easy to make your donation, but if a donor isn't sure, there is a guide there to take them through the process step by step, and easily set up their direct debit. There's a template for posters. You can see an example of it there on the top right. There's a poster template that you could put up in your church, or you could post it on your Facebook page, or you could send it out in the post to people. And on there you can add your QR code. Now on your parish landing page, as a statement receiver, if you scroll down your parish landing page, you will find an area where you can download that QR code. So you can download it, you can print it onto the poster, you can put it on your website, you could put it on your Facebook page, you could print it on a notice sheet that you're posting out to people. Any of those ways you can use that QR code, which makes it easier for a donor to get directly to your landing page on the PGS website. There's also an infographic. That's just a little illustration of the 3 ways you can give. So we're talking today about giving to PGS Online, but as I said before, you can still give by phone, you can still give by the traditional forms. So that's just quite a nice little picture that, again, you can maybe put on social media, you can maybe put on a poster in your church to show people the 3 ways that they can give via PGS. There's also some useful resources, again, that can be found there on the My PGS section of the website. A sample newsletter story, so just a story that you might be able to use to talk about PGS in your church. It's something that you can adapt and edit, or you can just get ideas from it for something similar that you might publish. There is going to be an animation that PGS are producing. We don't have a date yet when that will be available, but hopefully, again, next month, we're hoping that that will be available. And again, that's about the 3 ways to give, which you can put on your website, you can put on social media, or you can maybe even use in an online service to show people how they can give through PGS. So best practice comms. So there are lots of ways to use the resources provided and encourage donors to give regularly and to review their giving. So it is taking your message online is really important. So as I was saying, using social media, using your website to for people who do use those online methods to see, oh, actually now we can give online through PGS. It's very helpful for them to see it in those systems that they're using already. You can get a URL or that QR code that will take people directly to your website. So as I said, you can post that in different places to enable people to do that. Or you can just signpost people to the PGS website. So it's really important to publicize this, to take it to people, to show people that this is a new way that they can give. Yeah, it's all sorts of things that I've said already. So use all these different methods to get this message across, to publicize the fact that people can do this now. So in summary, now there are 3 ways to give. So this is a message from PGS saying, we understand that donors appreciate choice, which is why you'll say 3 ways to give repeated in our messaging online, by post, by phone, and by post. So, and as it says there, each method is simple and secure. There's no one method is more secure than another. The online method is very secure as much as the postal method and the phone method. And each way is simple if you're used to using that way of giving or way of donating. And every pound gifted goes to support the church's mission and ministry with no donor fees or charges to parishes. So as many of you know, PGS is free to parishes. There isn't a kind of registration fee or anything like that. So it is a really helpful way of enabling giving in your church. Again, this is a message from PGS. We would like to say a big thank you to the 5 dioceses and their parishes who participated in the pilot for our digital services. So there were 5 dioceses who took part in this pilot, but as Jenny said, many others have used the service already as well, just by stumbling across it. Our sincere thanks too to every one of our member dioceses and parishes for choosing to be part of the PGS family. Again, that's a message from PGS themselves, thanking us as a diocese for being part of that system. Okay, so contacts. If you want to contact Jenny and I, those are our details there. This will all be sent to you in an email. There is a PGS email address, pgs@truro at the top there. That's one that Jenny and I both see. It's quite a good one to use. I'm part-time, Jenny is full-time, but you know, if you were to send one to me and Jenny wasn't there, if it was in the PGS email box, then we'd both see it, even if the other wasn't there. So it's a good one to use. But if you want to contact us personally, our details are there too. And finally, some useful resources. So that is the link to the parish giving website at the top, which is where you go to activate your online account, where you go to set up your donation, where you go to access your statements, to access your parish details. If you want to get directly into the statement receiver section, My PGS, there's a direct link there, but you can do that through the website anyway. And then finally at the bottom there on our diocese website, our generous giving and stewardship section on the website has been updated. All the different areas have been updated actually. So for other information as well, there's lots of updated resources on there. But on the PGS section of that, you'll find lots of useful resources. Those guides for helping donors, step-by-step guide for donors, a step-by-step guide for statement receivers, the infographic and the poster, all of those things are on there, very easy to access on there if you can't find them on the PGS website. Again, these links will be sent to you in an email, so you'll be able to access those very easily. Okay, I think that's the end of presentation. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. So you can see that it is a really useful method of giving and very easy to sign up. And yeah, we would recommend that you try and promote this in your church, as well as promoting in general regular giving in your church. As many people have learned through the pandemic, that without regular giving, income can easily fall in the church, and that you know, there isn't that consistency of giving, and you can't plan your budget. So encouraging regular giving, and particularly through PGS, is a really good way of ensuring that you have a steady income stream into your church. Okay, I think there's various questions there that Jenny hopefully has been keeping an eye on those for us. So we'll try and answer a few of those now.
Well, there was a lot of information there, Christine, and so, but it's quite straightforward in the setting up of it. It's just the finer details of it. So yeah, there are a couple of questions there, which is very good. From Johanna Clare. Our parish has 2 churches. One shows on the PGS site as registered, the other not. How do we overcome this?
Yeah, okay, so that's something I mentioned briefly. I'll mention it in a bit more detail. So so if I understand you correctly, you have 2 churches in one parish, but you have one bank account. So people are giving to both churches, but through the one account effectively. And that is an issue that that's the case in many parishes. It's something I raised with PGS a couple of weeks ago. So the people in the church that says it's not registered can still donate on the other church. The problem is that's not terribly user-friendly for those people who are from the church that says it's not registered. So initially, how you can overcome that is when you edit that paragraph on the church that says it's not registered, in the paragraph that you edit on your PGS landing page, you can say, to donate to this church, please donate to the parish through the other church. And then they'll know to access the other church in the parish and donate that way. Similarly, on the church that is registered, when you edit that paragraph, explain that donations on this page go to both churches, go to one parish, which includes 2 churches.